Welcome to my vlog in the Veluwe. Day 1. So on our first day we left about 9ish, I would say, in the morning to go to the Veluwe, in which we arrived and immediately got our bikes, our electronic bikes out, and started just cycling around. Luckily it was amazing weather during the time that we were there, not to mention that we were there in August, which means that you can see the heide in bloei. So a lot of blossoming purple little plants that you see everywhere. You only have those in the end of July until the beginning of August. So luckily we were there at just the perfect time to see that. So we cycled all the way to the Bosbank on our first day, which is like this very hillish location that you can cycle sort of around. And as you can see, there was a whole bunch of purple all around. It was really amazing to see. The weather was amazing. It wasn't too busy, luckily. But yeah, that was really interesting to see. And towards the end of the day, when it was later in the evening, we have an Airbnb, which is like right up against Park de Hoge Veluwe. So we could see like this Evertswijn that was just hanging out over there, and well, it just so happened to be that there was actually a deer not too far away from him either. So we just got to sort of look at, well, nature pretty much. That was like right by our Airbnb, as you can see right here. I'm zooming out through the fence. And that was our first day. So day number 2. We brought quite a couple of things back from our place. I work at a bakery, so I got some croissants that we could bake in our own little house while we were on vacation. So we started with a nice little breakfast with freshly squeezed orange juice and all of that. And then we were getting ready to head onwards. So day number 2 is going to be a full day of cycling, and we decided to head up north on this day. As you can see, it's pretty much blossoming everywhere. Like, it's purple pretty much everywhere. Of course, there's some locations where you see more of it than elsewhere, but generally I would say you don't really have to go anywhere in particular in the Veluwe when you're there during the blooming season, because you'll pretty much find it everywhere you go. So from there on, we cycled over to Radio Kootwijk, which is where we're at right now. It used to be a radio station. don't remember if it still is. It might be though. Which is just one of the touristic attractions. After that, we continued on past Apeldoorn, south of it, a little bit further southwards towards where you have these supposed waterfalls. They're all made manually, just by people, but we cycled past this small little river for the remaining bit of our journey back towards our Airbnb. And along the way, we actually found that there were several of those little waterfalls. So it's not just one of them. If you just follow that small little beak, you pretty much find several of them. Just this little stream going down everywhere. As you can see, there is a lot of blooming going on here. You can see that the entire field was purple. And that was already day 2. Then we're going to day 3. So of course we have to take a break from all that cycling. So we decided to go to Deventer, which was really interesting to go to. So apparently this is where they have the Charles Dickenson festival every Christmas, because sales weren't doing too well in like the late 20th century. So they figured, you know what, we're gonna have like extra sales days, but someone decided, let's make it fun. So they decided to give it a theme, and it was gonna be Charles Dickenson. So every Christmas they have this entire festival that is just pretty much themed in all of the books of Charles Dickenson, and it's very interesting. We went to the Tea Rose, which was an amazing, very English cafe, where you can do high tea and all that kind of stuff. Their entire menu was incredibly British. Very English, I should say. After which we continued just walking through the city of Deventer. I was actually really surprised by how big it was. For some reason I figured it was actually not that large and you could pretty much just do a small circle around it, but there was actually quite a lot to do and to see. We just went past a couple of shops, had a look around, went to this amazing grilled cheese cafe, which was very fun. Staff was very nice, and I mean the grilled cheeses were amazing. After which we of course went into a church. Always have to look around at your local church, see what they've got, even though it's all Reformed and practically none of it is Catholic. They had a picture gallery going on, so we just looked around a bit there too. It's free to enter. You can pay to go to the tippy top of the church, but you don't have to. So we just took a little lookaroo around the plaza, and after that we started walking back. Figured, should we have dinner here or not, and we decided to do so. It was still pretty early, it wasn't even 6 yet, but the weather was still really quite nice. So we had dinner there, we went back home. It was an amazing day. And so here we have day number 4. Our last cycling day. So this is the day that we decided to do the last few things that we still wanted to do. Consequently, this is also our longest day when we're talking about how far we cycled. We went very far north because of the fact that we went all the way to the Bildertuin, which was pretty far out for us, but we did it anyways. Sadly, that day the weather wasn't all that great. It actually was kind of on and off. It rained a bit here and there, so it wasn't too great, but you know, it was doable. Would have preferred for it to be a bit drier. As you can see, we went past Radio Kootwijk again, so you get to have a different angle at the building. From there, we cycled for quite a long while down that very long path, a very long cycling lane that went past like this military station where they're doing free range shooting apparently, because they have all these warning signs hanging everywhere. That was long, kind of boring, and as you can see, it was actually kind of drizzling slash raining at that moment, so that's not that great. Then the way we wanted to go, it was actually like closed off, so we have to go in a different alternate routes. But then we eventually did get to the build town, and thankfully the weather cleared up a bit at that point. So it was still, as you can see, pretty cloudy, but at least it wasn't raining anymore. We've been to the build town quite a lot, but it's always fun to go there, especially if you're already in the area. We had a look inside. It's always fun to do. I at least bought 2 pairs of earrings, so that was quite nice. After that, we made our most direct way back home as possible as we could, because of the fact that we were far out, so it was going to be quite a while before we would get back home, and we'd still have an entire day ahead of us the next day as well. So we started cycling back, and on our way back, we saw this large flock of sheep, which, you know, there apparently was a shepherd there with his herd, and as you can see, these 2 incredibly cute dogs. I love them. As you can see, one of them is a bit older, kind of lazy, and the other one is pretty much doing all of the work. So yeah, this was pretty much our last day. The next day we just went up and packed everything. Well, we actually kind of did that this very same day. Packed everything up, packed our stuff. We just still go to Veluwe, which is where they have this antique store, which is in a church, or rather the church is the antique store, which was very interesting to see. They have this very cute cafe right next to it, where we had a cup of coffee as well, and something sweet to go with it. And from that point on, we pretty much just try to figure out a way back home, as there was a lot of construction going on over there. And that was pretty much it. Got back home, did laundry, you know, the basics, and that was our few days just in the Veluwe. So as you can see right here, we have the 2 dogs rounding up the sheep. The shepherd is actually blowing on this little whistle, telling them, like, come on guys, do your job. Please. But yeah, the older dog is just like not really having it. She just wants to sit, wants to have people give him belly rubs and stuff. So the sheep are all crossing. I'm going to watch them for a while before continuing onwards. So thank you for watching. If you liked it, please comment, like, subscribe, you know, the whole basic thing. We post quite a bit of pictures actually of this trip that I didn't put in here in the video on Instagram. Link is in the description as always. And that's all. Thanks for watching. See you guys in the next one. Goodbye.